Well, welcome back. Today is very special for me as I'm going to start a few lessons on art history and history of Italy. Let's get to it.
Let's dance.
Welcome back on Laughing Museums. My name is Eric. Thank you so much for joining. Today we are talking about this guy, Petrarch or Petrarca. Francisco. What is interesting with Petrarch is he's probably the guy at the origin of literally the birth of Renaissance, the whole idea of Renaissance. First, and that's something I really like about him, Petrarch was a humanist. Humanism is this very simple idea. We always think about humanism of something very complex, like always human beings, I keep saying human beings intellectualize for no reason, right? So human beings intellectualize, you don't need to intellectualize. Humanism is a very specific definition. It's actually a bunch of men, mostly intellectuals. They could be from any type of they could be monks, they could be married, they could be anything. Literally, there's no rules per se. They were mostly men for a reason. Why? Because the idea of those enthusiasts, I would say, the Greek and Latin enthusiasts, so literally they think we might lose a lot of that inheritance from the Greeks and the Latin. That's why they go from places to places, place to place, mostly to find all manuscript. And Petrarch is no exception of that because he found a manuscript by Cicero, and he became really famous for that. He will be crowned the first poet laureate of the city of Roma. Very impressive, even though the Pope was not here because the Pope was still in Avignon. And that will be the whole history. The Pope coming back from Avignon in 1420, as you might know, but I should do an entire topic on that. You can still check my videos on Avignon because it's always a pleasure to go to Avignon, of course, right? What else I wanted to say about Petrarch? I just want to say a quote. So I'm going to take my laptop, just to that quote: "Leave the city to the merchants, the lawyers, the brokers, the usurers, the bidders, the doctors," and it goes on like this for lines and lines and lines. And I'm moving forward. The insatiable do nothings. The insatiable do nothings. Always sniffing out the smell of the market. Always sniffing out the smell of the market. I love this guy for that. He's famous for many reasons. So he was crowned, I was saying, April 8, 1341. Sunday, April 8, 1431, which is an interesting day because some scholars consider that day, that Easter Sunday, like the real day of the birth of Renaissance, which is my special love in terms of painting. You know what else fascinated me about Petrarch? He was born in Arezzo, Tuscany, right? And this place is absolutely mind-blowing. Let me just translate to you. I should have done that earlier. The word of Pierre de Nolhac. He did homage to Petrarch in 1882. And the last time he came from Arezzo in 94, he said, "I will never go back to Arezzo. I will never go see San Francisco, the Piero della Francesca fresca. I will not go down the stairs of Vasari," because yes, Vasari was also born in that beautiful Arezzo. And I will not go around that place where Boccaccio took in his poetry. So Boccaccio, everybody was there. Everybody was there. His father was kicked out of Firenze, like Dante, for the whole battle around 1302. So that's another thing I like about Petrarch. He was not living in Italy for a very long time. When he literally came back around 1341, so he's like just before 40, he was crowned poet laureate, which is a massive homage. He was probably the most happy man on earth. He actually quote, "I am one of the best Roman," or "I am the best Roman," something like this, which is very impressive. You should read his poetry by Louvre, about Laura, which is his best love, Laura. But what, I was about to say two things I really like about Petrarch. Number one, he was walking a lot. He was walking a lot, like Nietzsche in Nice, like a lot of thinkers that I like more and more, that I love to walk and think and write. So here, for example, I am in the comfort of my home in Nice. He did the Mont Ventoux, which is the dream of cyclists, but you can also hike in there, and I'm probably gonna go hiking there one day as well. He was completely a free spirit, which is definitely the definition of a poet to me. Well, it became clear to me when I started to read a lot of the Beat Generation, for example, and I met some of those guys. Yeah, the other thing that I really like about Petrarch is, like, from the day he was born, he was a vagabond. He was living in Avignon, he was living in Carpentras, and then he moved around to Montpellier. He came here in Nice. So really quite a life going around in and out before becoming that poet that will inspire generations of poets, all the way to Pasolini, which I made a video on Pasolini as well. So read Petrarch, read Cicero. Just one thing, so you understand the importance of Petrarch. It's really weird to say Petrarch. When he died, he said, "I'm losing two things. I'm losing," last words he say, "I'm losing two things: my master and the book, the De Gloria by Cicero, that his master gave him." And that book, De Gloria by Cicero, as far as I know, has never been found again. So that's a very, very moving story for me. This love of books, which is literally unlimited, and that I find absolutely admiring. That was the definition of humanism: the love of books, the love of reading, and the love, like, we should preserve what is really important to us. For those guys, it was books. For us today, and for me, it's definitely the Louvre. Just one quote about the Louvre. When the 1870 events happened in Paris, both the Civil War and the Prussian invasion at the same time, Nietzsche, which was in Bâle, Switzerland, was very worried about that, so he went all the way to his friend Petrarch, a famous art historian. And Petrarch was so afraid the Louvre went down, which will be a massive strike of civilization, that he decided to go to Nietzsche's apartment, except they took different roads, so they actually arrived at each other's place without meeting each other. It's a silly little story, but I think it's a lot about what those guys really, really mean when they say they were book lover, civilization lover, music lover, and most definitely poetry. And as I was talking about the Louvre, painting, sculpture, and all form of art you find in the Louvre, of course, right? Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, if you're not doing it with a smile, whatever you do, you might be doing it wrong. You guys take care.